Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Absolutely.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I had a presentation for y'all, but what I did is I'm gonna put it online. That way you can follow along. So on the back of this business card, just scan it. It's gonna say today's presentation, and we can walk through slide by slide together. If you have any questions about the presentation, screenshot it, and then during the Q&A, I can answer those questions for you. My name is Drew Martin, CEO of Martin's Credit Doctors. We help small business owners with funding, build business credit, and do credit repair. A lot of the things that we can dispute is charge-offs, collections, bankruptcies, repos, anything that's negatively impacting your credit. We can use these federal laws. The government put laws in place to protect you. We use these laws to get negative accounts removed. I have the agenda set out for today. First, we're going to cover everything you need to know about credit. The second thing is positioning your credit to purchase a home. And then the last thing is, if you have any credit issues, I'm going to give you some tips to repair your credit yourself so you don't necessarily need me. But if you prefer an expert to do it, then you have my contact information. Moving on to my first slide, we need to understand the difference between a credit score and a credit report. When it comes to your credit score, think about it like school. Your credit score is your GPA, and your credit report is like your report card. You can have a high score, but if you only have 2 or 3 accounts, it doesn't carry as much weight as somebody who has a 750 score, but they have 12, 13 accounts. So focus on the report, not necessarily your score. So if you go to the next slide where it shows the 3 credit reports, you're gonna see 3 different scores. Have you ever checked your credit and noticed, why are my scores different? Each credit bureau might have different information. Experian might have 5 accounts. Equifax might have 6, and then TransUnion might have 0. So your score is gonna vary. So again, we don't wanna focus on a score, we wanna focus on what's on the report. So the highest score someone can have is an 850, and the lowest score they can have is a 300. We have 550 points that we can go towards our credit report. We want to reverse engineer it. Now that we know how many points we can acquire, we need to know what influences those points. If you move to the next slide, you're going to see the 5 factors of credit, and I'm going to run through this quickly. Number 1 is going to be payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? One late payment could drop your score over 100 points. So when it comes to the credit bureaus and banks, they want to make sure that you're paying on time. So just like you and I, if a family member asks to borrow $100, you want to know when and how fast they're going to pay it back. They tell you the first, you're going to be texting them on the first saying, hey, what's up? You said you was going to send that $100. And the credit bureaus think the same thing. We want you to pay on the due date. So we need 100% payment history. Moving on to the next one, is credit utilization. Credit utilization, this is only involving credit cards. So if you have student loans, a brand new car, or a personal loan, this is not negatively impacting this category here. It's how much of your credit cards you use. So they're gonna be looking at each card, and then they're gonna add everything up, and they wanna see the overall utilization. When it comes to credit card utilization, we want our max to be 30%. Once you start getting to 40, 50, and 60%, your score is gonna drop further and further. Because the banks are thinking, hey, she's living off credit cards, so that makes us a risk. So we wanna keep our credit cards under 30%, but when it comes to preparing to purchase that home, under 10% would be best. Third category, credit history. This represents 15% of your score. And to keep it simple, the longer you've been working with credit, the better. The more information they have, the more they can determine if you're a risk or not. Fourth is new credit. So this is the inquiries. Whenever you apply for an account, there's 2 types of inquiries. They have soft inquiries and hard inquiries. Soft inquiries, they don't impact your score at all. When you check your Credit Karma score, that's gonna be a soft inquiry. It's not gonna do anything negative. Anybody ever get those letters in the mail from Credit One or Capital One? If you decide, hey, I do want this credit card, and you apply, then it's gonna become a hard inquiry. So that's gonna drop your score anywhere between 3 and 7 points. So you don't wanna have a lot of inquiries because that makes you look like you're thirsty for money when it comes to the bank. They check your report and you had 10 inquiries last month, she's searching for some money somewhere, so that's a red flag for us. So during the mortgage process, we don't want to apply for anything within 6 months of getting this mortgage. We don't want any new accounts. And then the last portion is your credit mix. They want to see you working with different types of credit. We have revolving credit, like credit cards, like a revolving door. You start at zero, spend 500, pay it down, you're back at zero. So that's showing that, hey, I can borrow money, pay it back quick. Then we have installment loans. These are your bigger loans, like student loans, auto loans, your mortgage. Can she pay $400 a month for 60 months in a row? So that's showing some versatility. And then the last one be the line of credit, not as relevant, but these are basically like utilities. So those are the 5 factors that impact your credit. If it's not on that list, it is not doing anything to your credit score by any means. When preparing to purchase a home, have at least 3 revolving accounts. 1 installment loan, which is, again, student loans, car note, or you could use self. Credit history about 2 years. That's enough information for them to make a good determination on your behavior. 0 increase within 6 months. Credit card utilization as low as possible. And then a bonus tip, don't close any accounts, because this can impact your score as well. When it comes to your credit, we know that can make a difference between $100,000 over the lifetime of your mortgage. You can have the same house on the same street. Somebody with a 599 versus somebody with a 730, they're going to save about $100,000 because their score is better. Their interest rates are going to be lower. So when it comes to your credit and purchasing a home, every point counts in my opinion. So we want to make sure we're going in with the optimal credit, not just, hey, I barely made it, because you're going to pay for it on the back end. So these are going to be the tips that's going to put me out of business today. But since Chelsea invited me, I wanted to make sure that y'all went home with something of value. First thing we need to do, we need to see what's on our credit. Take a look at your credit report. Once you have your credit report up, there's going to be a couple things that you want to look for. Wrong identifying information. If your name is spelled wrong, or it's a variation, or it's a nickname, that's not your legal name, so we want to dispute that. Closed accounts listed as open. Unfamiliar accounts, debts over 7 years old. According to this is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. These are the credit laws that help you. According to this book, they say that anything on your credit that's older than 7 years has to be removed. So if you checking your credit and it's something on there from 2015, we need to dispute that to get it removed. Accounts listed twice, debts from an old joint account, or inaccurate payment history. Everything needs to be 100% accurate on your credit report. And if it's not, we're going to dispute it. This is an example here. So we have a P&C account, and I want you to direct your focus to the payment history at the bottom. So June 2023, I paid on time. July, they said I was 30 days late. August, I was 60 days late. Then in September, 2 credit bureaus said I paid on time. 1 said I was late. So if all 3 credit bureaus are going to the same P&C account and say, how's her payment history? It's late. So somebody lying. These are the types of errors that we're going to find in the credit reports. So that's our first error. Then you look at account status. TransUnion said the account's been charged off, meaning that it's been more than 6 months since I paid on this account. Experian said I paid in full, and then Equifax said I paid in full. So how can I be 6 months late and I'm paying on time? Another easy error we spotted. Last, look at payment status. TransUnion said I'm current, even though they said the account's charged off. Experian said I'm late, even though they said I paid the account off. Equifax said I'm current. So just in 60 seconds, we've been able to identify 3 different errors on our credit report. This is the difference between a 750 score and a 640 score. Because remember, 1 late payment could drop your score 100 points. So what you want to do is you want to go through every account to make sure everything is copacetic. This is an example of how your dispute letters are going to look. So your name and personal information, the credit bureau that you want to dispute, what's going on with the account. This auto loan, you said I was 30 days late. I think that's inaccurate. And you're going to tell them what we want to do. Hey, since you have these accounts on my credit report, I want you to remove them. You're going to take this letter, print it out. send it to each of the credit bureaus. They're gonna forward that to Chase. They're gonna forward that to PNC, Key Bank. They're supposed to do their own investigation, send it back to the credit bureaus, and then the credit bureaus are gonna let you know what happened. 9 times out of 10, when they send them disputes off, they're not gonna check. They're not gonna do an investigation like they're supposed to. So we're building up evidence. The credit bureau is gonna send you a letter back. They're gonna say, hey, you successfully deleted this account. Your score is gonna jump up through the roof. Or it might say the dispute is unsuccessful, that when that happens, we need to escalate further. Or they might say it's frivolous. In that case, we need to send a little bit of evidence. That might be a bank statement saying, hey, I paid my car note that month. This could take between 6 and 12 months, depending on how many bad accounts you have and other factors. Yes, questions? You don't. It's changing the oil to your car. You can get it under there and do it yourself, or you can take it to a professional. If you want it done right the first time and the fastest, we could do that for you. Some people have time on their hands, so I give you the tools. You can build the house if you want. I make it affordable. It's $125 a month. Generally, I'll say 6 to 12 months. A lot of my clients see results within 4 to 6 months.
How often should we check, like month to month?
She asks how often you should check your credit. Every month. Yep. Because something might pop up on there. Time Warner or Spectrum. You ain't had Spectrum in 3 years, but the account automatically pops on there. So remember, they have 7 years to collect the debt. Never recommend paying collection accounts unless they're trying to sue you. They might reach out and say, you owe us 75 bucks. You pay the $75, you check your credit the next month and it's still on there. Only thing that changes is on your report in the notes section, it's gonna go from unpaid to paid, but it's still destroying your credit. So I always recommend people go through the credit repair process first. It might be a $2,500 credit card and you settle for half thinking you got a deal and it's still destroying your credit. Good question. Yes.
With checking your credit report monthly, does that affect it negatively? You know how they say you're not supposed to check your credit score all the time for it?
Checking your credit does not impact it in a negative way. So remember we talked about the 2 types of inquiries, the soft inquiry and the hard inquiry. Checking your credit is going to be a soft inquiry, so it's not going to negatively impact your score. If you check your credit every month or day, you might see 90 soft inquiries, but it's not impacting your score. It'll stay on there for 2 years, but when you apply for something, those hard inquiries drop your score 3 to 7 points. Let's say you go purchase a car. The car dealership might run your credit 100 times, but as long as it's within a 30-day period, it's only going to count as 1 inquiry. You might see a bunch of inquiries. It's going to stay on there for 2 years, but only impact you for 1.
Bankruptcy and starting over versus credit repair.
Good question. So when it comes to bankruptcy and credit repair, they're different. Bankruptcy is going to settle the debt. Hey, you owe $10,000 worth of credit cards. Bankruptcy is going to forgive you for your debts. But then you're going to have a bankruptcy on your credit, and it's going to drop your score anyway. Credit repair, on the other hand, we focus on the report. So if you do have $10,000 worth of debt, we can help you remove the fact that they're reporting you late, but you still owe the $10,000. In the case where somebody has to go through bankruptcy, I still recommend credit repair because bankruptcy is going to fix the debt, and then you're going to have a bankruptcy still on your report. Then you come to us to dispute the bankruptcy because it might be inaccuracies on the bankruptcy. If you filed in Cuyahoga County and it says U.S. federal on it, that's a discrepancy. So I'm going to dispute it and say, according to that book, everything needs to be 100%. And we're going to get the bankruptcy removed, you got the debt dissolved, and now you're back in the game. Yes?
You think it is a good idea if you in debt $10,000, $15,000, just file bankruptcy and fix it?
That's an option. I would consult with a bankruptcy lawyer. I'm not an attorney or financial advisor, but I would consult with them.
Do they take the student loans with it?
No, I know. Bankruptcy doesn't do student loans. Everybody be doing that. But here's the thing with credit repair too. If you follow other influencers on TikTok or Instagram, they make it seem like, hey, in 30 days, my report's gonna be clean, or 90 days. That's not the case. If it doesn't meet what this law says, it's not gonna come off. If you go through us and you have a $5,000 credit card from PNC and they following the laws and everything's perfect, that account's not being removed. But 9 times out of 10, there's some inaccuracies, like I showed you in the presentation. So we going after the minute details. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna attack it. So everything's not guaranteed, but If this was a criminal case and you got accused of Grand Theft Auto, you still want to hire a lawyer because they at least, if I don't get off, I still get my sentence reduced because you're guilty of collection accounts, repos, whatever it may be. Having a credit repair specialist or doing it yourself is still worth the effort because they might just remove it just because they don't feel like going back and forth with you. But when it comes to any collection, unless they're threatening to sue you, I wouldn't pay it because it's not going to help. But if they send you something from Cuyahoga County, you better call and negotiate with them. Always start with a third. If you owe $1,000, you say, I might be able to do $300. And I got $10 a month for 30 months. Because in reality, it's a $1,000 debt, but they probably paid $50 for it. The original loan holder, hey, I know we're not going to collect. If you give me 50, you could try. So it's a business for them. So we can always negotiate. Any other questions? Yes.
If you started paying on a collection, can you stop out of nowhere and still do the same thing, or is it if you're already in it?
No, if you stop, what they going to do?
I don't know.
They ain't going to do nothing. They're not going to do nothing. They might call you, but if a bill collector call you, just tell them only contact via mail. Because they might agree to something on the phone. Hey, if you pay this off, we'll remove it. But then you pay it off, and you have no evidence you two agreed to it. So if you do decide, hey, I'll just go ahead and pay it off, and you all going to take it off, get it in writing. We need everything in mail. Because you might be able to take them to court, and you can actually sue them for damages to your reputation. Any other questions? Any questions from the panel or guest? Yes.
How did you get involved in wanting to help people with credit?
Great question. I love this question. A few years ago, I had bad credit myself. So this is like 2015. I owed $25,000 worth of credit card debt, and I didn't have $25,000. So it was either file bankruptcy, and I was doing a process on how bankruptcy works, and then I stumbled across the FCRA. So I started reading every book I could, watch all the YouTube videos. I fixed my credit, fixed my brother's credit. And around the pandemic, he's like, you got a little business going on here. And I started helping more people. Since then, we've expanded to helping people build business credit and getting business loans. So even if you have bad credit, we still can help you get business loans. And if you have great credit, we can get you business loans fast. I love what I do. I brought my nephews over here so they can see me work and learn some financial literacy. It's for the community. Yes, absolutely. Income has to be up there for that corporate credit. We do small businesses. You can start a business today and call me on Monday. We can get you some funding. Any other questions? I know my fellow guests have some things. Cool. All right.